This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks lose to the Utah Jazz 113-104 in a game where they held a double-digit lead twice. They went up by 12 in the first half. They went up by 12 in the second half. And still, they were not able to pull out this basketball game, ladies and gentlemen. Great game from Mitchell Robinson. The game of his life. The best game of his career. Young career. Julius Randle played well for most of the game. R.J. Barrett played well for most of the game. And yet still, the New York Knicks could not pull out the victory. Late game execution. Talked about it in the game preview. Execution, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to win, you've got to execute, especially in late game situations. And the New York Knicks did not execute tonight in the fourth quarter. The last 5 minutes of that basketball game was terrible for the New York Knicks. Terrible. Could not execute. What else can you say about the game? You know, we can go through the storyline and all of that stuff. You know, you seen it. You watched it. You know, we can talk about how many times the Knicks took a lead and this play and that play and so on and so forth. The bottom line is they had poor execution down the stretch, and they lost another game on this road trip that they could have won. This is the second game. They were up 21 points in Los Angeles. They were up 12 points twice tonight against Utah. And they lose both of those games. They are now, ladies and gentlemen, 6 games below 500. And they still got Denver and Golden State on this trip. And then Portland. I don't know. I got Uncle Fulio here with me, man. We're going to go ahead and break this thing down and talk about it. Uncle Fulio, what's popping with you, man? Talk to me about this game, what you see.
Salute, Sam. Salute the NBK fan in the chat out there. Another tough game. I think the team overall, I think they played well. I think they played with effort. But like you said, you know, the late game execution, us not having a point guard out there to close these games out is really hurting us right now. And I know in the beginning of the season, we were all hyped for Kemba. We were like, you know, this is low risk, high reward. I never was with that whole premise, because I feel like if it doesn't work out, the Knicks still would like a point guard. And that's pretty much where we're all right now. You know, the Kemba Walker move didn't work out. He obviously didn't play tonight, but we just really don't have a point guard to help us set up the offense down the stretch. I feel like we settle for too many jump shots when the game gets close, right? We have no one to really, really slow the game down and help us get better shots. We just settle for jump shots way too often, and that's what we've seen tonight, and that's what we've seen in the last game against the Lakers.
I mean, but I think every team in the NBA, obviously you got some teams who are really, really good on offense and they're able to get, you know, maybe some looks at the basket. But I think there's a lot of teams in the NBA, good teams too, who settle for mid-range jump shots or even open threes when the game gets close. Because obviously the defense gets tighter, the game gets more physical. It's a lot tougher to penetrate. The refs lets more, the referees, they let more go. But you got teams who got guys who can knock down those mid-range jump shots. And we don't have those guys that can knock down mid-range jump shots, you know what I mean, consistently. And I think that's part of the issue, because when defenses get tight, it gets a lot harder to get open layups at the rim and those type of shots. You know
well, Sam, if not open layups at the rim, we can at least get to the line down the stretch. Like the offense, when I watch the Knicks offense, this is a sign of a not a good offense. Like, we were running. To start the game, we're running. We're making quick decisions, right? Then the other team adjusts to us, and then the game starts to slow down a little bit. And then we settle for long-range jump shots. We settle for three-pointers. A lot of that's due to Randall, right? This is not defending Randall. A lot of this is due to Randall, and the offense just becomes stagnated at that point when other teams start to adjust, and we can't get to the line. We don't get to the line enough, in my opinion, to try to get to the lane and create some other things. Right, and that's the problem. Problem number one for the Knicks offense for me is, when the game starts to get close and defense start to pick up, we just settle for too many not wide open, but 3-point shots. And I think that's the problem due to not having a point guard, someone to set us up to get into the lane to penetrate. And that's just the bigger issue with the offense right now. We scored 102 points tonight.
104
in our offense,
104 points. 104
we should be scoring way more points than that, Sam. We really should.
We should. I mean, we did get to the line 35 times tonight. The Knicks went to the line 35 times. They only made 24 of those free throws. You got to make your free throws too. Look, late game execution, poor free throw shooting is killing the Knicks night in and night out. Night in and night out, ladies and gentlemen. It's killing the New York Knicks. And pretty soon, you're going to start getting to the point where players are going to be deflated, and it's going to become too much of a mountain for them to overcome when you start talking about this playing game. Because after losing tonight, the New York Knicks, they're still in the 12th seed, but they're now 24-30. They're a game and a half behind the Atlanta Hawks. All right, they are a half game behind the Washington Wizards, and although it sounds like it's a game and a half, the Hawks are 25-28. The Knicks are 24-30. That separation is growing. Now, the Hawks, they've lost 2 in a row, though. As long as they keep losing and the Wizards keep losing, the Knicks will have a chance to be there in that 10th seed. You know what I mean? But with the schedule that the New York Knicks have, it's just going to make it it's going to make it difficult. The Charlotte Hornets, they're also losing. They've lost 5 in a row. The Brooklyn Nets are losing. They've lost 8 in a row. So there are teams that are keeping the New York Knicks in it. The problem is the New York Knicks are not one of those teams that's keeping themselves in it. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Let's take a look at the box score, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks were led by Julius Randle. Like we said, Randle had a pretty good game. The energy was there. He was able to keep a hold of his temper for the most part. Kind of trying to play peacemaker out there, keeping other guys in line. But he had good energy tonight. You know what I mean? And the Knicks need that from him every single night, every single time he steps on the floor. For the past couple of games, what R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle have been able to do together, the Knicks need it, but they need some help from some other people too. And yes, I agree, Josh. They need a point guard out there to run the ship when you get in tight, when you get in wavy, rough waters. You know what I mean? And that's right now, they just don't have that. But anyway, Julius Randle, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Did have 5 turnovers on the night. But for the most part, played a good game, 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. He was 8 for 12 from the free throw line. R.J. Barrett, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Didn't shoot that well from the field. He's 32% from the field, 14.3% from the three-point line. R.J. Barrett, 1 for 7 from the three-point line for R.J. Barrett tonight. And he was 6 for 8 from the free throw line. Mitchell Robinson, ladies and gentlemen, definitely the player of the game for the New York Knicks. 19 points, 21 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and even an assist for Mitchell Robinson. He was 8 for 11 from the field, 72.7%. He was 3 for 6 from the free throw line as well. Evan Fournier had 16 points. Big turnover down the stretch of the game. Dribble the ball.
Why is the ball in his hand, Sam?
Dribble the ball off of his foot or whatever he was trying to do. And after that, nobody else really scored. Alec Burks had 5 points. Emmanuel Quickly, 5 points. Cam Reddish had 6 points. Cam Reddish had played 15 minutes tonight. Obi Toppin played 10 minutes, and had 0 points and only 2 rebounds. As for the Utah Jazz, of course, they were led by Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell really kept them in the game, especially in the first half. He had 32 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals for Donovan Mitchell. Bogdanovich had 20 points, 4 rebounds. Mike Conley had 18 points and 7 assists. And then Jordan Clarkson, he had 16 points off the bench. That's the box score, ladies and gentlemen. That's the box score. But you said, why was the ball in Evan Fournier's hands? Well, Tom Thibodeau ran a play to try to get him an open 3-point shot. Caught the ball. He got the ball at the top of the key, looking for the shot. He didn't get the shot. And it looked as though he was trying to dribble towards whoever it was on the wing so he can hand it off. But he dribbled it off of his foot. There you go. That's the reason why he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, probably was the case. Maybe they try to get a play for Fournier to get him an open shot. But the ball should not be in Evan Fournier's hands. I don't know if he was trying to create on that play for himself or create for someone else or create. But Evan Fournier should not have the ball at the end of the game attempting to play make. I will have to look at it again to see
he had
if
no
that's what he was trying to do.
He had no choice. So they ran a play that was for Evan Fournier. It was from a timeout. Inbound, they ran a play that was for Evan Fournier to try to get him an open shot at the top of the key. He got the ball at the top of the key, but the defense closed out on him, right? And if you look, he was trying to take a couple of dribbles and then probably hand it off, but then he dribbled it off of his foot or lost it or however he lost it, he lost it. But another example of poor execution. And not even execution of the play. The play, he got the ball, but then poor execution on whatever he was trying to do after that. And then, of course, you had multiple plays after that where the Knicks just executed poorly. There was a moment there where both the Jazz and the Knicks just had some strange plays. Mike Conley had the ball in the paint all by himself and didn't shoot it, kicked it out, missed whoever it was, missed a 3-point shot.
Right.
Then Julius Randle comes down, gets in the middle of the lane. He's all by himself for several seconds. And he doesn't shoot it. He kicks it back out to whoever he kicked it out to on the perimeter. That was a wild sequence, but late game execution, man. Late game execution. I don't know. Listen, I don't think, down the stretch, to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody really wanted to be the one to try and facilitate. RJ wasn't playing well down the stretch. Julius Randle started to, for a second he was trying to score or do whatever, but then he you could tell on that play that I just mentioned, he wasn't sure what to do. So he kind of faded away from being the one to execute down the stretch or make plays down the stretch. There's nobody out there that felt confident enough to make those plays down the stretch.
I still think our best two guys that have to put the ball in their hands currently, as of right now on this team, is Randle and RJ. Fournier should not have the ball trying to be a playmaker.
The ball was in their hands. The ball was in their hands. The ball was.
I was talking about specifically for that turnover when Evan Fournier tried to create for someone else or what have you.
But you can't.
I'm with you, Sam. I'm with you.
But the thing is, you can't have it in their hands every single play.
What do you mean? Down the stretch of games for them to create for others? You absolutely can.
That's the whole reason why people say that the offense becomes redundant. When you come down the stretch, there are times when you can say, okay, you know what? Let's try to do something else to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do that. You are allowed to do that. Especially, do you know what RJ did in the fourth quarter?
No, he didn't. Listen, I'm not saying he played well. He played his best basketball in the fourth quarter. I'm just saying for the Knicks to win, the best chance for the Knicks to win is to have the ball in the hands of their best two playmakers. And I get it. We don't have a point guard.
But that's what I'm saying. They did.
I'm with you.
No. But what I'm saying, they did. They had the ball in their best two players' hands, and it wasn't working. So shouldn't you try something else?
Not give it to Evan Fournier for him to play make. That's not smart.
Was you going to give it to Alec Burks?
No, I would keep the ball in Randall's hands, and I would lose with them. I would lose with the ball in their hands. Not with Evan Fournier.
Right, but in the fourth quarter, Evan Fournier was 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. R.J. Barrett, 1 for 3. Julius Randle, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 1 from the 3-point line. Alec Burks, 0 for 1 from the 3-point line in the fourth quarter. Who was creating anything? Who was doing anything?
Sam, that's just missed shots. I'm talking about creating for others and running the offense through those two guys. I'm not talking about their missed shots and their efficiency.
But what I'm saying is these guys were not efficient enough to draw anything, to draw any attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't mind trying something else and using your best players, as a decoy. It happens all the time in the NBA. I didn't find anything wrong with trying to get a 3-point basket for Evan Fournier in that situation. He was 2 for 2 from the 3-point line in the fourth quarter.
Sam, it's not about the play that they called, about making the play for Evan Fournier. I'm talking about running the offense through RJ and through Randall so they can either score for themselves or create for others. That's exactly what that play for Evan Fournier was. I'm talking about Evan Fournier putting the ball on the floor, him trying to be the playmaker and the facilitator in that situation. That's what I'm talking about. To me, that's just not smart.
In my opinion, they had the ball in Julius Randle's hands most of the fourth quarter, and sometimes in R.J. Barrett's hands. We were, getting some shots, not getting some shots. We had 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Obviously that 1-2 with Evan Fournier was one of them. I don't know. 9 times out of 10, he takes a dribble and takes a couple of dribble and makes the handoff. Because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to hand it off to whoever it was that was over in the corner. Turn the basketball over.
Regardless, it's a roster issue. I think we're arguing. We're going in circles, but it's just an issue. We don't have that point guard on this team to really set us up down the stretch of games, and that's just pretty much what we're we're going back and forth about. But I think we're pretty much saying the same thing. We just don't have the players to do it. So.
No, I agree. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the players to do it, but in that situation, you got to try to, whoever you got out there on the floor, you got to try to use those guys, the best way that you can. Especially when you don't have everything that you need. But either way, the New York Knicks poorly executed down the stretch, and that's the reason why they lost this game after having a 12-point lead. And I don't know, did they have a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter? I believe remember.
So. I believe it was early. I think it was early in the fourth quarter we had that lead. Niggas came back, knocking their shots down.
Yeah. The Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, they win the rebounding battle, 56-49, largely because Mitchell Robinson had 21 rebounds on the night. 21 rebounds for Mitchell Robinson, 18 assists for the New York Knicks, 19 for the Utah Jazz. And if you look at the first half of the game, the Knicks had 12 assists in the first half, only 6 assists in the second half. I don't want to say this is a tale of two halves like it was against the Los Angeles Lakers, but this is more like, the first quarter, the Knicks played well, and then in the second quarter, they didn't play well. And then in the third quarter, they started off playing shaky, then they played well, and then in the fourth quarter, they didn't play well. Still, the same inconsistency from the New York Knicks. 8 steals for the Knicks, 6 steals for the Utah Jazz, 3 blocks for the Knicks, 3 for the Utah Jazz, 16 turnovers. The Knicks, I don't want to say that they've become a high turnover team, but, over the last few games, it's been turnovers. 16 turnovers for the New York Knicks, a team that normally has been averaging 12 turnovers a game. For the Utah Jazz, they had 10. The Knicks ended up shooting 37.9% from the field. They shot 24% from 3 and 68.6% from the free throw line. And then the Jazz, they shot 41.9% from the field, only 25% from 3, but they shot 85% from the free throw line. Right? So the Knicks missed 11 free throws. The Utah Jazz missed 4 free throws. That's a 7-point difference right there. Obviously, the Knicks aren't going to make all of their free throws, but you can shoot better. The Knicks got to find a way to shoot better than 68% from the free throw line. I think whoever it was, Brendan Brown or whoever, was talking about the Knicks, and that up until like Christmas, they were shooting like 80-something%, or not Christmas, midway through December or something like that. They were shooting like, they were 7th in the league, not 80-something%. They were 7th in the league in free throw shooting, and now they've just fell tremendously. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just shaping up to be a terrible season for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think they're going to recover from this road trip. I don't think they recover. You know what I mean? Listen, they haven't beat Utah. They struggle against Utah every time they play them, right? And then they play the Golden State Warriors. For the most part, you can look at that and say that they're going to be 8 games below 500 after those 2 games. Maybe they beat Portland, and leave this road trip 7 games below 500.
Don't forget about Denver. Don't forget about Denver, Sam.
Right. So they play Denver next. Right now, they're 6 games below 500. They play Denver next. That'll make them 7 games if they lose. The Golden State Warriors, that'll make them 8 games below if they lose. And then if they beat Portland, they'll be 7 games below 500 after this trip. If they manage to beat the Portland Trailblazers.
Sim, like I told you and before we went live, I think fair or not, I'm not saying this is on this person's fault, but I think Tom Thibodeau's coaching for his job. I really, really do believe Tom Thibodeau's coaching for his job. And it's unfortunate because I think the players are still playing for him. I think they're still playing hard for him. Like these couple games that the Knicks lost, I think the players are playing hard. They're trying. But I just believe, Tibbs is manning a sinking ship. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to come down to him. This is an obvious regression from last season when they made the 4th seed, where he was coach of the year, and now we're struggling to make a playing game. I think that's grounds right there for him to be dismissed as the next Knicks head coach. And it's unfortunate because I don't think it's all his fault. People want to talk about the rotations and all of that. I'm not like too big into that, but I just think the obvious regression that this team has, and now you're getting reports that, him and the front office are not really on the same page. To me, I just think that, the Knicks are pretty much going to look to move from Thibodeau at the end of the season. So
we'll see. I don't think that they're going to move on from Tibbs. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think they will. I think that, I'll say this. The trade deadline, the trade deadline will tell you a lot, in my opinion, because any team in the NBA could have a fire sale that quick, right? If they want to blow it up, they can have a fire sale and move their major chips and say, we're starting from the beginning. We're hitting the reset button. Any team can do that at any time before the trade deadline. I think if the New York Knicks either stay where they are, waive Kemba and, do some things like that, some small things, I think that means they run it. Well, I don't want to say that, because you still have the draft and you still got free agency where you can make some moves. If they make a move like a CJ McCollum, I don't think they're doing that at all. You know what I mean? So what the Knicks do, I'll say during the trade deadline, the draft, and free agency, what they do during that time, if you see the Knicks have a fire sale, then yeah, Tom Thibodeau will be gone, I think. But if you see them go get a CJ McCollum or someone like that, then I don't think so. I think that, I think that means they're going to try to rock out with Tibbs and Randall and RJ, with Tibbs being the coach for at least the next year or two, and see where it goes. But you could be right. I don't know. You could be right.
Yeah, to me, the CJ McCollum thing for me would be kind of confusing because why would you go make a trade for Cam Reddish at that point? That screams that you're trying to get younger. Right now it's really difficult to see the direction the team is going right now.
I don't think. I think that going and getting a Cam Reddish, I think it's part of trying to have a team that can still grow, right? But also having veterans to help those young guys to grow. And then so if you go get a CJ McCollum, if you're able to clean up the roster a little bit, where you can have CJ McCollum, who's going to be a starting guard, and then you clean it up so that Cam Reddish can still play off the bench, then you've accomplished both things. Now, is it enough for the Knicks to be, a competitive year-round or, annual playoff team? I don't know. You know what I mean? Obviously, younger players are going to get better. More chemistry is going to grow and things like that. I just think if the Knicks go get a CJ McCollum, that tells you the story of their direction, in my opinion.
No, Sam, listen, I'm absolutely with you. And I agree that, you can still have veterans and young guys at the same time. I'm just talking about because of CJ McCollum's contract. His contract goes beyond next year. Guaranteed money beyond next year, right? Which Burke's contract ends next year and Kemba's contract ends next year, right? So for me, if they go in the CJ McCollum direction, the front office is saying that, pretty much CJ and Randall, those are the two biggest contracts you have in your roster for at least the next 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
And, that's what I'm saying. That goes against bringing in a player like Cam Reddish, who you want to potentially grow into that particular role. Now, if they went after a contract that expires next season, I think that's a little bit different because that contract is more movable. But to me, McCollum, because it goes beyond next season, to me, I just don't know what direction they're going in. If they decide to bring in McCollum, but that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I don't think it's. I think that if you bring in McCollum, I don't know if you brought in Cam Reddish to automatically be the starting 3-man on your team, and it still doesn't negate him being, a starting 3-man on your team, depending on how they use CJ McCollum. Remember, CJ McCollum is not 6'8", he's 6'3". You know what I'm saying? So depending on how you use a CJ McCollum doesn't negate Cam Reddish from being in the starting lineup.
So where would you put him?
Where would you put him? Yeah. I mean, if they decided to use CJ McCollum, if they decided to go with a unit where you have CJ McCollum playing point guard, right? I mean, you laugh, but when you look at the Portland Trailblazers over the last few years, yeah, Dame Lillard's not a point guard per se. He is a scoring guard. And CJ McCollum is also a scoring type guard. I mean, it's done all over the NBA. If that's what they decide to do, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that you could have CJ McCollum, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson playing in the lineup. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Even if you still say, we want to get a different type of point guard and have CJ McCollum at the shooting guard spot, and you got Cam Reddish still getting 25 minutes off the bench, I don't think it negates the purpose of bringing in Cam Reddish. I just don't think it does that because you have a young guy that you can grow off the bench. And if you're talking about 2 more years of CJ McCollum, not 3, because this is 1 year and he has 2 more years left on his contract, you might be saying, well, after those 2 years, Cam Reddish is ready. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be the ideology behind having veterans and then young guys coming up, that it takes a couple of years for them to go into that spot. I don't know if Cam Reddish is ready to be starting 3 guard on the team anyway.
Sam, everything you said would make sense, but they still have to pay Cam Reddish because his contract is going to expire next season. CJ McCollum, if they bring him in, his contract will be for longer, right? So you have to figure all of that out in the midst of each other, their contracts. Okay. I'm just talking about the contracts. Like, I'm not dissing CJ McCollum. He can ball. There's no doubt in my mind, no doubt. That's not where I'm going with that. But I'm talking about the contracts and bringing them in and figure out which way they want to go from that standpoint. And to me, McCollum's contract is too long for them to say that they still see Cam Reddish as a major part of this rotation, in my opinion, if you bring him in. And particularly, if you're going to put him at point guard, we can tie the game where we can't close down the stretch. You want to put CJ McCollum at the point guard?
Hold on, CJ McCollum is not Alec Burks.
I know.
A much better player.
He's not a point guard, though. I mean, I just think that's not.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not smart.
He's a much better player than Alec Burks. And the way that,
that's no doubt.
Without being a traditional point guard, he averages 5 assists a game. You know what I'm saying? He has a much better handle of the basketball game, a much better basketball IQ, and he obviously can do things much better than Alec Burks on the basketball court. And Spree, I know that's your Michael Jordan. I'm not trying to diss Alec Burks. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? C.J. McCollum can do things a lot better than Alec Burks can. And, you know, when you look at his size, he can guard other point guards out there that are, you know, in that 6'3", 6'4" range. You know, and he's a guy that can create as well. So I think, you know, that could be an idea that they're thinking about. And I don't think it negates. But either way, if they go get a C.J. McCollum, you know, you're saying, you know, you talk about the Cam Reddish thing. I'm saying if they go get a C.J. McCollum, it tells you their direction and what they're thinking about. Yeah. It tells you. You know, and to me, it tells you that they don't think Cam Reddish is ready for that starting role right now, if that's what you think, or it tells you that, you know, if they do ever see him as that guy, then maybe they look and say they think C.J. McCollum can run the guard spot for them. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on how they go forward. But what I'm saying is if they go get a C.J. McCollum, I don't see them moving on from Tom Thibodeau. I think they go get a C.J. McCollum because they believe he's someone that can fit with Tom Thibodeau. That's what I think. But let me get to Spree. Spree, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, man. Did you find it funny when Julius was trying to hold Nerlens back and calm him down?
Hey, you know, Julie, hey, I don't know.
That was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, he found a light for tonight.
I'll say this about Julius. He's playing hard. He's playing hard the last few games.
No doubt about it. He's playing hard.
I mean, I like the body language. I know he's not finishing, but I have no issue with Julius Randle the past 2 games.
The only issue I have with Julius Randle tonight is when he missed that putback.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, come on, Julius, you got to make that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to make that. But
yeah. I mean, Alec Burks, I'll say this, okay? He's not Michael Jordan. But I also think we're not.
You just figured that out, Spree?
Yeah, he's not Michael Jordan. But we're not. But let's be fair to him. Mm-hmm. He's not. We're asking him to do too much. When he was in that role last year with the second unit, rolling with Rose and all those guys, that's his ideal role. He's not a point guard. He's not a starter guarding the best player on the other team. He can thrive when in the second unit for a team. This is no knock on him, but he ain't MJ. He's looking more like Kwame Brown than MJ right now.
Oh, no.
But I want to just make this comment. At halftime, did you feel like we should have been up 10 or more?
I did, because of the way the first half went. You know, the way. Yeah, I thought we should have been up by 10 points or more in the first half. By halftime. It felt like we should have. You know what I mean? But, you know,
third quarter, how much should we have been up?
You know, continuously we gave them the lead back. You know, and I felt like some of it tonight, when Mitchell Robinson came off the floor, it always changed the basketball game. And then I felt like when the bench came in, it changed a lot of the basketball game as well. I didn't feel like the bench played well at all tonight. You know?
Yeah. I'll say this. I don't I need to watch the third quarter, but like after that play where Julius threw it out to RJ and then got the tip, which was his best play because it was a hustle play. I think there was a timeout, right? Jazz called a timeout. That's when the team collapsed after that play. Like we were up 12.
Yeah.
We were up 12 points after that play, which was the Julius effort play. And then it died. I mean, I would have played Deuce McBride. I would have tried something else other than Burks. I mean, and I'll say this about IQ. We have to have an honest conversation about IQ. Sim, we have to be honest what I'm about to say. Yes, he can make crazy shots. Yes, he can get hot. But he needs to start up closer around the basket. Like, he's taking crazy shots. It's gotten out of hand.
I mean, I can't disagree with you about his shot selection, man. You know, he that little double screen that he comes off of, right? He shoots it every single time. Comes off the double screen, whoever it is, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson, or Nerlens Noel, whoever it is, he shoots it. And there's a lot of times when, to me, it's just not a good shot. Clearly, Emmanuel quickly did not play well tonight. And it provided a problem for the New York Knicks because they didn't have any punch coming off the bench at all. Cam Reddish came in and was okay, but, I'm not expecting Cam Reddish to give the Knicks that kind of a punch right now. You're hoping that one day he does, but it's not happening now, But I agree with you with IQ,
always
man.
Shoots that? Like, why do you think IQ doesn't, like, I know exactly the play you're talking about where he shoots that three immediately. Like, I know he has a quick release, but why does he always shoot that?
I don't know. I guess that's the way that they practice it. You know what I mean? And he comes off and pulls that three. That's the way that they practice it. I think that's, Tom Thibodeau probably wants that shot from him.
I don't think that's a good shot for some. So the reason why I don't think it's a good shot, I know he can make it, but like he's coming into the game off the bench where he's cold already. Like, start up close, get a floater, get a layup, get something like closer, or like find a teammate, because it's not a good shot. It's not. I mean, his shot selection, Tim, has gotten like even worse, and I didn't think that was possible. Like, and I like IQ. He brings value because he can go off the dribble, but his shot selection was awful tonight. Really bad. Maybe the worst I've ever seen. And then also one thing about Cam Reddish before I go. I like how he cuts to the basket. He did get over a couple screens late, which gave up threes. I think the Knicks this is what they have to do. And this is what Tom Thibodeau, I'm frustrated with Tom. He's got to play Reddish. Just play all the young guys. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. Cam Reddish made mistakes tonight, but at least you saw flashes. Like, we got to start building. Like, I don't see the purpose of some of this. And maybe it's going to come after the trade deadline, but like, we got to trade. In my opinion, I think we need to trade Kemba, Fournier, Noel, Burks, and we got to start playing all of our young guys. Deuce McBride, just get them all in, Sim. We got to know what we have. This season, it's falling apart. I don't even care about the plan. We just got to find out who we have and who we don't.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to do that. At least not right now. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to ride this out until mathematically the Knicks can't make the playoffs, or until it's just basic common sense that they're not going to make the playoffs, even if it's, mathematically they're not out of it. I think he basically just rides them out. You know what I mean?
What would you do? So to me, I feel like there's a conflict because like Thibodeau's playing. Obviously, they're not going to play to lose. I'm not saying to lose. I'm saying like we have to. The problem right now is, and maybe the trade deadline will fix a lot of it, but like Sim, the next championship team, I don't see Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker. I don't see Nerlens Noel. I don't see Alec Burks. I don't see, like, all these guys. We need to just play our young players. You look at all these teams.
You can see a championship team?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, look at the young players around the league. All the young players, like the Cavs, like I can go through the Hawks. Like, everybody plays their young players.
I mean, I think we do play our young players.
So do we.
How many minutes did Obi get tonight?
I mean, Obi got 10 minutes tonight.
I think he needs to play more, regardless.
See,
I think it's time that we just play all. Like, Deuce McBride doesn't play at all. I thought Deuce could have came in the game today.
I mean,
what was Burks doing in this game?
Maybe he could have. Maybe he could have. But I don't want to say that the Knicks ain't. I mean, when you look at Obi Toppin is under 25. Cam Reddish is under 25. Quickly's under 25. Robinson's under 25. RJ Barrett's under 25. All of those guys are under 25 years old. When you look at who the Knicks played tonight, Nerlens Noel, Evan Fournier, Randall's 27. and Alec Burks, are pretty much older guys. But the Knicks play a lot of younger guys. They do. They play. It may not be everybody, and let's wait and see what happens after the trade deadline. I think the Knicks have to make a decision about what they really want to do when you get to the trade deadline. But I do think we play young guys.
I don't understand what is the purpose of getting McCollum? He's an older guy. He's 30, right?
Well, I mean, the purpose is whatever the front office is. We got to figure out what the direction of the front office is. I think that's what it is. If they believe that they can, that they can put together a nice squad by adding C.J. McCollum, and yes, he's 30 years old, then that's what they would do. It's all about the direction of the front office. The purpose of any move that they make, I think, from now until free agency is going to be about the direction that they're looking to go in, and those moves are going to let you know what that direction is.
Yeah, I just don't. And look, I'm not second guessing. I know what happened last year. I know they're playing veterans because they thought that they would be a better team. I'm not. I can't have it both ways. I get it, but I'm saying now that I think I know what this Knicks team is. It's been 54 games. I want to see all these young players more because I need to know. Tip says all the time, Sam, you can develop not just in the games, but in practice in the G League, and that's fine. But, I don't watch G League games. I'm not at practice. I still need to know what Obi is.
Right. But
I know now when Obi gets in, he can't shoot. I know that, but maybe he can do more stuff on the court. I don't know. I don't know what these people are.
But they know.
Do they?
They're the experts. They're the experts. They're supposed to know. I mean, when you look at Obi, I can't get mad that Obi only played 10 minutes tonight. In his 10 minutes, he had 2 rebounds. That's it. I can't get mad.
How many minutes did No, I'm not mad about Obi. How many minutes did Reddish play tonight?
Reddish played 15 minutes tonight.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
I like Reddish. I know Reddish made some mistakes defensively, but I did like Reddish in the game. I like how he cuts to the basket. He took a few bad shots, but he'll make them.
No, he made some good hard cuts to the basket. I think Reddish should be all right. I think he'll be all right. After the trade deadline, we'll see what happens. I think that Leon Rose I think his intention is to make room for Cam Reddish to play and get significant minutes. And I think that's part of the reason why he's so, he's cool, right? You're not hearing a bunch of stuff about him being upset because of this and that. I think he's cool because I think he knew the deal before he came here.
Yeah. Also, look at Sims. Another guy, I know I'm second guessing, but look, I don't want to see Nerlens Noel play anymore. That's just me. I don't think he's good anymore. I would have rather, RJ played 43 minutes tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We're overplaying guys. I don't know.
He's one of the young players.
I don't know.
I'm just talking now.
Yeah,
you guys can hang up on me. I got nothing.
I hear you, Spree. Hey, I appreciate your time, man.
All right, man. It's all love, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Sam, I don't want to make it seem like I'm disrespecting C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum can ball, and to me, I think he 20 points per game. I'm not disrespecting him at all. Again, I just think you lose a little bit of your flexibility for the end of next season when you trade Kemba and Burks for a contract that's longer. Now, if let's say C.J. McCollum's contract ended at the end of next season, you include Fournier in that deal, to me that makes sense because you have a big whopping contract coming off your books at the end of next year.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
It's just a year longer for me. That contract, I'm not really rocking.
I think they would include Fournier in that deal.
Right. No, hear me out, Sam. What I'm saying is Fournier goes beyond next season, right? He's guaranteed money beyond next season. And then let's say Kemba and Burks are the other 2 guys that they put in there who expire next season. So by bringing in a McCollum for all 3 of those guys, basically you give that money that you wouldn't.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just too long for me. At the end of next season, I'm all for it because that money comes off the books. You know what I mean? So I like McCollum. Don't get me wrong. He can ball. He can be an important part of this rotation for the next season.
Listen,
or so.
Alec Burks Alec Burks, his money doesn't come off the books until the end of 2023.
Right, next season.
Evan Fournier's money comes off the books in 2023, 2024.
Yep.
Right? CJ McCollum's, his money comes off the books in 2023, 2024.
Right.
Right. So you're talking about, if you trade Evan Fournier, you're talking about another $10 million that's on the books for another season.
What was the proposed trade? I think wasn't supposed to be Kemba and Burks.
I don't think there was an actual proposal made from the New York Knicks. I think all of that stuff is speculation. It was just the Knicks had interest in CJ McCollum. I don't think that there was an actual trade proposal out there, besides other people making proposals.
Okay, gotcha. But you see where I'm getting at as far as that extra year, though. Like, I get it. If you got to include Fournier in that deal because he'll take most of the money. But as far as a Burks or a Kemba, their money ends next season. Basically, what you're doing is you're putting that money on the books for an extra season. And I'm not really rocking with that.
See me, if you're moving Evan Fournier in the deal, I don't mind taking another season with another $10 million. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be other guys. There's going to be other guys coming off the books. You know what I mean? And if you feel like you got three guys in Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, and C.J. McCollum, and then you're like, okay, now let's see how we can build pieces around these three and to make us really, really competitive, then.
So essentially what we're talking about is a Fournier for McCollum swap.
Basically.
We're like,
that's what I would think. That's what I would think. Basically, a McCollum for Fournier swap. That's what I would think it would end up being. And then you would make room if Alec Burks is somehow included in that trade. Right? Then you're making room for Cam Reddish to play in that second unit as well.
Okay, I understand.
So,
yeah. And that would make more sense. That would make more sense. I understand.
Yeah. Who knows what it's going to be. But whatever it's going to happen, we're going to understand what they're thinking at least a little bit more clear as we get to the trade deadline, which is just 2 days away. You know what I mean? And they've got to be looking at these games and saying and understanding that you need a guy out there. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, C.J. McCollum can't run point guard spot for you. There's going to be some people that disagree. I've seen some people in the chat say C.J. McCollum didn't win nothing in Portland. I'm
not going by that. C.J. McCollum can ball. Don't sleep.
Portland has been, up until maybe 2 years ago, up until last season, Portland's been a good team for a while. And C.J. McCollum was part of that. Obviously, they couldn't get to the mountaintop. They didn't win a championship. But maybe 3 years ago, I think they were in the, 3 years ago, they were in the Western Conference Finals, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years ago. But the thing is, if you add C.J. McCollum to R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, the Knicks get better. Does it make a push for them to make the playoffs this year? I don't know, because now you've got to figure out a way for these guys to develop some kind of chemistry out there. So I don't know. The Knicks got to do. I don't know. I don't know what happens, man. But these kind of losses right here make it really, really tough for anybody. Just makes it tough. Poor execution down the stretch lets you know you need some players out there that understand how to get it done down the stretch. Lack of leadership. You need players that provide the leadership out there on the floor and on the bench, in the locker room, all of that. A lot of stuff the New York Knicks need, but I think after this stretch, we're going to understand a little bit more. Maybe the Knicks don't make a move until after tomorrow night's game, right? Because after tomorrow night's game, they won't play again for another 2 days. And they'll kind of know. They'll kind of see where they are. The issue is that they're still within an earshot of that 10th seed, and they probably still feel like they can get into the 10th seed, and they might feel like if they got to be smart. I don't want them playing for the 10th seed. I don't want them playing to say, well, hey, we can get it to the 10th seed this year, and then they make a move looking at, short-sighted. I seen someone in the chat say short-sighted. I don't want them to do that So if they make a move and bring in like a C.J. McCollum, I hope that they have a real plan in place when they do that, and they're not just, throwing darts at the wall to see what sticks, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. I hope that they have a real plan in place to make something happen. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, Josh. Like, what are we gonna say? You know what I mean? Okay, let's do this. Are you seeing anything positive? How about that? Are you seeing anything that you like?
Yeah, I mean, there's some positives. I think Randall's playing with much more effort that we kind of we should expect from him. But some of those games where he wasn't giving any effort, I mean, you can't really defend that. But I think he's been playing with more effort. I think he's been playing better. He's been making his shots. Obviously, RJ is still emerging. RJ is becoming that dude. You know what I'm saying? I got to give him his props. He's definitely proven me wrong as far as him becoming potentially a star player. So I got to take darts for that. You can throw tomatoes at me if you want to. And I still think
tomatoes up in the chat. Put them tomatoes in the chat.
Put the tomatoes up there. I just see a lot of good things from Mitch. I think the team is playing hard. We're just right now in a tough stretch of games. I think we're not gonna do anything substantial. We'll probably make the playing game, but we're not gonna do anything more than that. So I think the season's already done. But let's just see what we got as far as if we're able to put some effort these last few games.
Yeah, let's talk about Mitchell Robinson though. Right? Let's talk about Mitchell Robinson though. A lot of conversation about what he's worth and his contract situation. He's making $1.8 million right now. He's playing super duper good basketball. You know what I'm saying? And if I was his agent, I would have been on the phone with Leon Rose right now. I'd be talking to him right now like, Leon, let's go get this nightcap. We got something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts, man? What's the Knicks doing with Mitchell Robinson? Come on. I already know what you're going to say, but I already know what you're going to say.
He's been balling defensively, rebounding. I mean, you just can't say enough what Mitchell Robinson's been doing. I still question the fit on offense. I just question it. Like Mitchell Robinson, his points and a lot of his rebounds that he's getting, it's off of second chance points and then rebounds, which are all very much so important. But to me, it doesn't speak of an effective offense. Now, if Mitchell Robinson was a guy that you could throw the ball down to, run some plays for him to get the ball down low, or, if it was something like that, I'd be feeling a little bit different about him offensively. But he's just not that, and I just question the fit. Now, if the Knicks want to play fast, I would have no problem with it offensively because I think they can get away, they can score some points. But when the game slows down, that's just I don't see the fit there for Mitchell Robinson offensively. Defensively, no question, Mitchell Robinson's a beast. No question. Blocking shots, the ability to rebound, the ability to alter shots, pick and roll defense is much improved. No doubt in my mind. But again, offensively is why I question the fit. And that's going to determine whether he stays. So we'll see.
When I look at the game tonight, I don't see how his lack of ability on the offensive side hurt this team. When I look at it, I don't see it. You know what I mean? I thought for most of the game, I thought the Knicks had pretty good spacing on the floor. A lot of times, when he's coming up high and running that screen and roll, and then the ball gets swung, and he's kind of out in the mid-range type of area, even though he's not shooting, to allow Julius Randle or RJ Barrett to get to the cup. The way that they use him, I think, allows for the spacing because, he sets screens for RJ Barrett, so RJ Barrett can go to his left, and then they're looking for that lob, and if that lob isn't there, RJ Barrett can go all the way to the basket. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's
but that's because they play fast. If the Knicks are gonna play fast, I think you can hide some of that stuff, and I think that's what they've been doing. The game against the Lakers and this game, they play fast early on in the game. But what I'm saying is, when the game slows down, I think that's where it hurts us offensively.
But that's where I was just saying when I was talking about that screen and roll. That is the game slowing down in a half court set. And a lot of times, it's Mitchell Robinson, the one out on the perimeter setting a screen for R.J. Barrett, which is opening up, which means that Julius Randle is out on the perimeter. So you still got the good spacing. You know what I'm saying? And then, with Julius Randle, the way that they're getting Julius Randle to the cup now is by running screen and roll with Julius Randle, and you're seeing him get open layups at the basket through running that screen and roll, even though Mitchell Robinson is in the dunker spot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I think obviously the offense isn't like clicking, because guys aren't hitting shots. But
that too.
But I think that they're still getting good looks inside. You know what I mean? I think they're getting really good looks inside still. And I'm not sure if his lack of shooting is, could it help? I still think that they would need a sweet shooting 5. You know what I mean? To get out there on the perimeter so that you can play and have some different looks instead of coming in with Nerlens Noel or Jericho Sims, who's going to do the exact same things as Mitchell Robinson, except not as good, especially Nerlens Noel, not as good. You know what I mean? Nerlens Noel is just looking terrible out there. But what are you paying Mitch, though? Let me ask you that. What are you paying him? Looking at what he's doing, because what he's doing right now is really, every time he goes out there and has a double-double, which I think he might be close to averaging a double-double after this game. I've got to look and see. But every time he goes out there and has a double-double, you add a couple more zeros to that contract total, man.
Sam, I'm going to either between 12 and 15 a year, 4 years, somewhere around the range 55 to 60 million. That's what I would do.
Okay,
that's what I would do. But I'm not going anywhere near no 20.
No.
But anywhere between 12 and 15, I think he earned that with the way he plays defense. And his, the numbers don't lie. The rebounds, the double doubles, that doesn't lie. So that's what I would do. But I'm not going anything over 15. I just.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Big Savvy, what's going on? And hold up, Savvy, before I get to you, see some people in the chat trying to throw some hate Mitch's way. Come on, man. Don't hate on Mitch after tonight. He's balling. I can't lie. Man. Don't hate on Mitch after tonight, y'all. They said, if Rudy Gobert was there, Mitchell Robinson would have had 10 points at the most. I don't know. He might not have had as many rebounds, but you know what? He did exactly what he's supposed to do when you don't have another, I don't want to say another all-star because Mitch hasn't made the all-star team yet, but when you don't have an all-star caliber center there, Mitch dominated like he was supposed to do. Yeah. But we've been seeing Mitchell Robinson against some good centers this season have some really good basketball games. I'm sorry, but he has. You know what I mean? Don't front on him. Don't front on Mitch, man. Come on, Mitches. Go ahead, Savvy. What's going on?
Yo, Sim, you a fool, dog. And it's only the disciples of Fulio that's looking for a reason to hate on Mitch right now. Salute to Fulio, man. Good to be back on the panel with your boy. Hey, listen, man, this loss hurt, bro. And I was gonna let y'all rock because y'all was doing a great job. But what compelled me to come on, aside from just having the pleasure to talk to y'all, gentlemen, is something you said earlier about OB and Cam Reddish. But I'm gonna answer the question as well. If Mitchell Robinson comes asking for $20 million, I'll give it.
You say you're giving him 20 mil?
If they're firm on getting 20, I'll give him 20.
A year?
Hell no.
If they're firm on getting 20, I'll give him 20. He's doing more for us right now than Fournier is, and Fournier's getting 20. Okay?
Yeah, but Fournier's not setting my market. Fournier is not going to be the person to set what I'm paying players. No.
I agree with that. That's a good point. But check me out. I believe in the growth potential of Mitchell Robinson. I believe in the upside to Mitchell Robinson. I think whatever we pay him, if we let's say we come out with a favorable contract term and dollar amount over the next few seasons, right? I believe that if it plays out to our favor, he'll quickly outplay what he's earning in the next 2 years. I'm buying
at $20 million.
I'm buying in on mixed stock. I'm not coming to the table saying, "Do you want 20, buddy? I'll give it." No. That's not how you negotiate. I'm gonna try to see if I can get him for 15 at the most, just like you, Josh. But if they are saying we are going to walk away and go somewhere else, if you don't give us that 20, I'll give it to him.
I don't think no other team is going to give him 20. Not even close. Not even close.
You don't think any other team is going to give him 20?
Nope.
I don't know if I'm seeing a team give him 20.
Hey, listen.
I don't know if I'm seeing a team give him 20.
If you could see another team give him 18 million, you can see another team give him 20 million.
I can't even see another team doing 18.
I think you don't want to see that, but I think teams would do that. Look at what the young man is doing out there. This is the first time he's had a full healthy season, and look what he's doing. The Cats out there on the court. It's a beautiful thing. This is the guy we got as a second round steal years ago. He just got hurt and wasn't healthy to do it. He had some bad luck. Now he's right. He got his body right, and he's out of here. I'm sorry. Call me a fool if you want, but having a big man like that, a solid, dependable big man, you can send him out there to go bump with the real ones. Okay? Nah. You got to hold on to that man at all costs, buddy. I believe in the upside. And we can get some other young man, a veteran on his way out the league, to come in for 15 minutes or so a night and maybe shoot some threes and be a perimeter threat, a stretch five presence. But we don't need that from Mitch. If he just does what he did tonight on a consistent basis, if he gets these rebounds, crashes these boards, and puts these points back in that bucket, I don't see how we could lose on making a deal like that.
You realize that most of Mitch's points come from the Knicks' inefficient offense because they miss shots. That's how he scores.
We could easily have a guy who can't put those back. Mitch can put those back.
I mean, I can't. I mean, you're right. You're right about that. That's not a fact. You're not going out on offense saying, I'm going to run this play so Mitchell Robinson can get the rebound and score. That's not what you're doing. That's not effective offense. Defensively, I'm not going to argue with you. Mitchell Robinson is a beast. No question about that. And I think off that alone, he will get paid. Off that, the defensive and the rebounds, off that alone. But offensively, 20 million is a lot, man. Offensive
rebounds for him to score wouldn't be my go-to play either if I'm the coach. Okay, because that's just not a good way to attack any sort of a defense that you're matching up against during a basketball game. But if you have a guy that can do it, at least now when you do go get those shooters that can put it in the bucket, when they do miss the shot, you got a guy that can reel that sucker in and jam it in the basket where it belongs in the first place. But right now, it doesn't belong there in the first place because we have certified bricklayers out there on the perimeter that some people insist on defending to no end. But I'm not going to throw any shade because the Frenchman had a decent game tonight. He got cooked a little bit here and there, but who didn't see that coming? I do think McCollum would be a slight upgrade defensively in that regard, but I do think that the contract terms and the years would be sort of weird in terms of what we want to do in free agency down the line. And I don't see how it gets us closer to a point guard. That's the only reason I'd be okay with keeping where we are right now and maybe just pitching away Burks and Kemba Walker. But I would go as high as $20 million for Mitchell Robinson if I had to.
Well, what I would say, what you said is, you don't see how it gets you any closer to a point guard. Depending on what the trade is, if they trade away the right pieces, then your money is basically the same as it is now. You know what I mean? If you trade away the right pieces, so then in free agency, when free agency comes, you got the same amount of money that you would have had anyway.
Is that though?
What'd you say?
How much money is that though? Because I think that we need
like
more
looking
money.
at right now, I'm not exactly sure. It all depends on what happens, but I'm looking at like 13 to 15 million maybe this summer.
The good thing is that the Joakim Noah money comes off the books too.
Yeah, but they just
Right.
picked up
But
extra $5 million with Cam Reddish.
I was really hoping that we would not have to wait until the offseason to get our point guard piece in place.
Well,
I really wanted to get a point guard piece this trade window right here.
Yeah, but look, if you're looking at someone like a Jalen Brunson, I don't think it's going to be traded. If you're going to get him, it would be in free agency and maybe a sign and trade with the Dallas Mavericks. If that's the case, I don't think the Mavericks are looking to trade him. And then if you're looking at someone like a Malcolm Brogdon, you're not going to be able to do that until the draft or in the summer, right? Malcolm Brogdon could be on the table because I think it's possible the Indiana Pacers are trying to tear this thing down to the very last compound. All right. And,
I really hope.
So he could be on the table, but that wouldn't be until the summer.
I gave up on that Dallas Maverick dude a minute ago because they ain't trying to lose him. Mark Cuban wants to keep him. All right, keep him, buddy. It's no skin off my nose. Okay. If we could get Brogdon, that'll be tight. But I don't want to get desperate and have to look any Spencer Dinwiddie's way because he's a hater.
Nah, I'm not messing with Spencer Dinwiddie.
I'm not either. Okay. And I think that we're desperate. And I think we're making desperation moves right now. And that's why you're seeing some of the news we're seeing right now, which I don't like because I think desperation moves is how we got Kemba Walker and Fournier on this roster in the first place, abandoning our defensive priority, which it should be our priority. But tell me, watching this game tonight didn't make you wish Mike Conley was our point guard right now?
Yeah,
I wish. Oh, it hurt not having one, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, man, I don't know how much, I know we're not really breaking down the game like that tonight because how much, listen, you can go back and look at the last 5 games and you'll get the breakdown of tonight's game, ladies and gentlemen. Poor execution down the stretch.
Can I add one last thing?
There you go.
Can I add one last thing in closing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cam Reddish got some minutes tonight. I liked seeing what his intentions are on the court. I think the more burn he gets and the more he gets familiar with his teammates and the offense that we're trying to run, the better it will be. But we did see a glimpse of him and Obi getting in each other's way tonight. When he went up to tip the ball repeatedly and Obi was there, it was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know what's going on there. But after that, the next couple minutes together looked pretty decent. If that duo can coexist, I'd like to keep them both. I heard some talk about trading Obi, and I don't know if I'm ready yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm quite ready yet. I think if we can give that young man one more season, possibly, if he can coexist with Cam Reddish, then run it. But it might be Cam time soon enough. I like them cuts. He could have helped on defense when Donovan Mitchell was in the post that one time, but that's he's still figuring it out.
Yeah, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, another loss for you to grapple with, and then we play the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets, and then I'll let everybody go to sleep. It's 1 a.m. Denver Nuggets tomorrow night, a team that the New York Knicks notoriously struggle against. Josh, what's your thoughts?
I don't think we won a game in Denver in like 15 years since Jamal Crawford hit his little shot or whatever. I think that's the last time that we won a game in Denver. That's a long time. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the altitude or what have you, but they've been playing better lately, so I'm going to give them a chance in this game. But we got to be able to stop Jokic. That's going to be a tough test for Mitch. So we'll see.
Savvy?
That's a good point, Josh. Maybe we don't even talk to his agent and just leave him on red until after the game tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Put us in a better bargaining position. Okay. But ooh, man. First of all, the last 2 games we should have won, we lost. This game that we should lose, we're gonna really lose this one. It's not gonna be okay. It's gonna be ugly. I'm watching this with my face turned half away from the monitor just to curb the blow. They are rough and tough. When does Jamal come back?
I have no idea.
Jamal Murray.
I have no idea.
It broke my heart to see him go down for that long, but they're doing all this damage without that young man, and I don't see any end in sight.
Without Michael Porter too.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that guy.
They got the talent over
there. And Markieff still ain't come back. So I'm gonna say one thing. Don't piss off Don't piss off Jokic tonight. I almost said Jokim. Don't piss off Jokic tonight. All right. Because he is a very strong dude and his brothers don't play that game. If we go in there and win, I will be very happy and delighted. It will be good for morale, but probably, what we're going to need to happen for that to happen is we're going to need Burks to be the MJ Burks that Spree loves. We're going to need Fournier to shoot the lights out, and we're going to need RJ and Julius to do what they've been doing lately again. And hopefully Mitch can just not get himself hurt against that monster of a 5 that they got over there. I think a lot of people forgot about that dude's MVP season.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, Mitchell Robinson did what he did tonight, and I seen people in the chat say, it's because Rudy Gobert wasn't playing this and that. Let's see Mitchell Robinson do it tomorrow night.
Rudy Gobert could have been out, and another center would not have had the production that Mitch had tonight, even in that same scenario.
Yeah.
All right. You still got to be able to do the stats. So.
Well, let's see if he can do it tomorrow night. Much bigger, better player than whoever he went up against tonight, right? So let's see if Mitchell Robinson can have, I'm not asking him to repeat this performance, but have a similar type of performance where he can dominate the glass, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. There's some other things that I could talk about, but it's late. You know what I mean? We could talk about it on the game preview tomorrow. All right, so I'll be doing the game preview, I guess. And it's going to be a little bit earlier. Going to do it about 2:30 because I got early practice at 4 o'clock. So I'll be doing the game preview about 2:30 tomorrow. So look for that notification, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Any last words, Josh, before we get up out of here?
Gibbs is coaching for his job, fair or not.
Oof.
We'll see. Savvy?
First of all, NYK all day, NBK for life, okay? Spike that like button if you haven't already, you know what I'm saying? We over here, win, lose, or draw in various states of misery, giving y'all this post-game analysis, okay? So just go ahead and show us some love. And the chat been having a lot to say lately. They've been having a lot to say. I be wanting to put some money up against y'all sometimes. Maybe we need to start that up. You know what I'm saying? A little MBK community betting pool. You know what I'm saying? But that might make things a little bit too real for y'all that like to have fun in the chat. Go Knicks. Don't be scared of nobody. Julius Randle. I like angry Randle. You know what I'm saying? I like the laptop slappy Randle. All right. I like the thumbs down Randle. All right. If that Randle pull up tomorrow, we might can do it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get it. All right. Let's run it.
By the way, Randall said that happens all the time with him and Scott King. He said it happens all the time.
That's just how he played.
We'll see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, peace, all my Mitches out there. We gone. I'm out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's Number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.